I am sick and tired of BCS supporters trying to tell me that the BCS is the best way to crown a true champion, an undisputed champion in college football. Now, one thing that thing's flawed from the beginning. An undisputed, you got to admit, whether you agree with the BCS or not, you cannot agree that whoever wins the title is going to be undisputed. The whole reason there's an argument, the whole reason people want this changed is because of a dispute. So you're going to get a champion, but it's not a consensus champion. I'm not talking about the poll consensus. I'm talking about fan consensus. All right, common sense consensus. In a playoff system, you may think that you're better than another team. And you may be right in the sense that we are better than that team. But then someone can come to you and say, well, did you win? Did you beat them in a playoff system? Or did you lose in a playoff system and allow them to go further? And you have to say, yeah, we did. So you only have to blame yourself. The onus goes on the teams in a playoff system. In the BCS, it goes to the rules of the game. Now, some of you may say, well, hold up. College football is the greatest regular season of all time. So why not just use that mentality with the regular season? If you lose a game in the regular season, well, then you can't complain because you're supposed to win them all and move on. And I would agree with you on that. But here's the problem. If there were teams with a better record than the team that didn't get in, that's fine. That's okay. But if you're going to say that if you lose in the regular season, then you have no room to complain, no room to call foul, and yet teams with the exact same record as you go to the championship game, it doesn't seem to make sense, doesn't seem to add up. I mean, so we have different sets of rules for different teams. At certain points of the year, you can lose, and it's better for you than other ones. Losses at the first of the year aren't bad as losses at the end of the year. I mean, where is this? There's a problem here. Also, I cannot support a system that has the ability and has done so to leave a team out in a major conference, by the way, that's gone undefeated and they can't play for a national title. And no one likes split national titles, okay? This is America. We don't do split national titles, okay? We want one guy. That's the mentality here in this country. We want one team to be the title holder. And with Auburn, years ago, that's the classic example of a team who went undefeated in the SEC, which is arguably the best conference in the entire college football, and they don't even get to go and play for the title game because they thought OU and USC were better. And once again, like, people think, people discuss, people talk. What happens? OU gets completely obliterated by USC, and Auburn is stuck left outside. Now, a lot of people say, well, it didn't matter who played USC that year. They're going to get killed. Do we know that? We don't know that. We can just sit there and talk about it. It looked like it on paper, but how many games, and not just in college football, sports in general, where you say there's no way that's it. They don't even need to play. The other team is going to destroy that team. That is why sports is so awesome, because it's not played on paper. It's not played in a computer. It's played for real life. That's why you play the game. And it seems like people who support the BCS have lost that mentality. They want just the top tier teams just to get in, no problem, whatever. They don't want any real competition at the end of the year. And it's not right. Teams, if you have the same record as another team and you're in a major conference, but they put one team above you that has the same record, I don't get that. And that's why people can't accept this. This is for entertainment purposes. This is for people want to watch this. Okay, so the whole sport it's generated by fan participation, people wanting to watch, people wanting to care. So when the fans are unhappy, then something needs to change. Now I understand no matter what happens, people are going to watch, and that's probably why they've got us the way they do, because they know no matter what they do, no matter what system they employ, their product is good enough where people will come back and watch, so they can still provide for the bowl games for their sponsors, make the money. People still get mad, but at the same time, they're still making money, so they could really care less about us. Also, they need to stop using. I'm trying to take away some of the things the BCS tries to to employ, the slogans they have to use. Another one is every game matters. Look, if you win every game, then you should go to the national championship. Utah this past year won every game and played in the Sugar Bowl, beat Alabama handily, destroyed Alabama. Alabama only scored on special teams and defense and got a field goal. That game should have been blown out of the water. Okay? So, but Utah doesn't get it, and it's going to be Florida and Oklahoma, where that was the only game that really mattered. So how can you tell Utah that every game matters? And you say, well, they play in the Mountain West. They don't play the real competition. Can you really say that the Mountain West this season was worse than the Big Ten, the ACC, and the Big East? Can you really say that? With TCU, BYU, and Utah are all good teams that no other team in the country wants to sit there and play and say, oh, we would destroy them. People don't like to schedule those teams because they have the potential of upset because they're legitimately good teams. Also, we've seen that these mid-major schools, or whatever you want to call them, can win the BCS. Okay? They can win it. Boise State's done it once. Utah's done it twice now. Okay? And I do agree with the fact that it's hard just to put them in there would not be right in this system. Okay, I'll agree with that. That Utah winning the Mountain West and going to the national championship, a lot of people have a problem with that. Because if they got beat, then everyone would say, well, they weren't good enough to get in. But I do believe that they should have a chance to get a shot at the national title. Just like Hawaii last year. Hawaii did not belong in the BCS bowl game, but we didn't know that until they got beat by Georgia, which I was glad they did. Whatever. And even though Hawaii didn't deserve to get a immediate national title shot, I do think the way they put their schedule together, or just the way the games they won, that they could give a shot at it. And if they weren't good enough, they get beat. That's the thing in the playoff system. You only have your own team to blame if you don't get through. If you get in and you're the number one seed, you won all your games, but then you lose one in the playoff system, you can talk about, oh man, we had it, we let it go, but it's all on that one team. Okay, they don't see another team with the same record that didn't have the same opportunity move on, and they can say, oh, that's cheating. They don't deserve that they're cheating, or it's just not it's not right. It's not good to the integrity of your game. It just doesn't work like that. It's about the fans, and most fans don't like the system because it has a great season, but who really cares about bowl games? Let's put it on the table. Who really cares about bowl games? And I'm talking about the top tier, the teams contending for the national championship. They say that bowl games help solidify a season, help smaller teams feel better about themselves. They get to end with a Meineke Car Care Bowl or whatever. Okay, that's all fine and good. But let's talk about the top tier programs, the teams competing for the national title. Do they really need a little exhibition game at the end of the year to make them feel better? Do you think that really matters? I can tell you no. And I can say that because except for the Orange Bowl, after every single BCS bowl game, USC, Texas, and Utah, none of them got up on the stage saying, yeah, we're Fiesta Bowl champs. Yeah, Rose Bowl champs. Yeah, Sugar Bowl champs. What did they say? We're number one. We deserve to be number one. And I will vote us number one. I don't care what happens in Miami. Pretty much taking a shot at the national title game saying, I don't care who wins. And none of them did. So what's up with the BCS? I thought it was supposed to be such an honor. They've created to be such an honor for these teams to be there. But if the teams don't see it like that, then something's wrong because it should be the teams that matter and the players that matter. Not just, we corporate sponsorships and, you should like it. It's a BCS game. It's a big-time bowl game. People want to go to the national title. And especially when you see two teams in there with the exact same record as 6 others. It causes problems, and people decide, is this really the 2 best teams? If you have a system where at the end of the national championship game, you have to try and convince viewers that the team that won is the best and is the true champion. Because you could listen to ESPN commentators were trying to say, look, Florida's it, Florida's it. What other sport do you have to sit there and say, look, guys, no, you're wrong. Stop talking about your team. It's this team. In the Super Bowl, when the Steelers won it, there wasn't a team out there or fan of a team out there saying, they don't deserve it. They're not the true champion. because they're a playoff system. And if their team was a true champion, they would have won through a playoff system. This year in college football, Florida's the national champion, a deserving national champion, because they would deserve to be in a playoff system and deserve to compete for it. But to eliminate the other teams with the exact same record in major conferences as well is wrong and shameful. And it's a broken system that needs to be fixed. It won't be fixed, but we can still talk about it. The BCS is junk, and I can't understand why people still support it.